Let's have a discussion about whether a woman should be with a man that she loves more than he loves her from a man's perspective. A commenter writes, I think in general, even for men, it's the same. If he's sick and she has needs, she'll have a boyfriend. The reason most women don't leave is they might be financially comfortable or at least stable. All of this, he's supposed to love her more, is a myth. Men find that women they marry often wanted someone else. He's not her first choice. She probably couldn't pull the one she loved more. So the one she could pull isn't getting the premium treatment. She does what she has to do, and at the end of the day, she goes in the bathroom or in the closet and secretly cries. She comes out, no one's the wiser, and in her quiet moments, she fantasizes about what life might have looked like with the one. So yes, men and women are both losing. Okay, so I wanted to respond to this because I think that this comment has lost the plot, and I think, just sort of reading it, for me it seems like from what I know about working with men and women, and I've worked with quite a bit, I've worked with a fair number of them over the years. What I know about from women, and what it sounds like even from your comment, is that a woman has checked out of the relationship, and it's checked out maybe after some time when things aren't going well. And I want to put that disclaimer on it because usually, in my experience, in working with men who are not really feeling the woman like that, they're checked out right away. They're checked out right at the beginning, or they never really checked in. She's comfortable. She keeps the bed spot warm for the moment. We have fun. She's entertaining me. She's meeting my needs. What you're sounding like is a woman who's checked out after some years of time that has put in their sickness. Maybe there's no intimacy going on, and women are very emotional. And when a woman is checked out emotionally, or when the relationship is no longer emotionally fulfilling her needs, she may be staying for the time being, or she may end up staying, point blank and simple. But she's checked out emotionally and she's not happy. If someone is going into the bathroom and crying, it's not because you're not her first choice. It is because something has happened in the relationship and there's a breakdown there, and she feels stuck, right? If crying is routine and she's going in and doing that night after night, at the end of the day, she's still choosing to stay. Well, men will not do that by and large. Generally speaking, of course, this isn't all, but generally speaking, most men are going to move around and do what suits them. As soon as they get any sort of inkling of unhappiness or inconvenience or feeling like they can do better, it happens all the time. Whereas the woman that you are describing is a woman who's hung in there and is starting to feel like, damn, I'm going through some bullshit, ain't I? Like I'm crying, I'm not happy, but she's sticking it out through thick there. So to me, that doesn't sound like a woman that feels like, that actually sounds more like a woman who is loving a man more and is sticking it out despite not being happy. So I have to disagree with this comment, because what you're describing isn't a woman who packed up and left at the first inconvenience and dissed you. I don't even really hear that it was all about her first love, except for what you're putting, but I don't get any indications of that from the woman that you're describing in this scenario. if anything, I think you know, and again, I don't know you and I don't know, you know, I'm just going based off, but what I would suggest is maybe checking yourself a little bit more, because if there's something going on with you and you're sort of projecting that onto this woman is still sticking it out for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is, but things are not good for her if she's crying every night. But, you know, she's doing it out of love. She's doing it out of whatever. But, you know, she still must love you. If there's emotions that are tied to it and she's crying and she's doing it by herself, that also means that she doesn't feel safe with you, or that she doesn't feel emotionally cared for by you to even do it in your presence, or that you are not comforting her. So she no longer finds comfort and solace with you for whatever reason. And I'm just taking it, I'm just speaking about what you address. The other thing I know personally from having worked with women who are caregivers, or that, you know, sometimes the men that they are taking care of when he's sick, men are not easy to take care of when they are sick. You know, they could be mean. You know, if it's a terminal illness, they could be mean. They could react out and be physically violent, and it can be a very unbearable situation. So things are not looking good. So if a woman is in a position where she's taking care of you, and she's crying in the bathroom every night, she's certainly not sticking that out. I hate to be the one to burst your bubble. She's certainly not sticking that out for what she can get, because it doesn't sound like she's getting anything. And, you know, it doesn't sound like she chose you because she thought that you might have been the best person for the job. So, but you've got different ideologies going on in your comment there. And then I don't know how you come to the idea that she fantasizes about what life might have been like. But if life with you isn't good, you know what? Why wouldn't she fantasize? She's still there with you. That might be comforting her despite what's going on with you. But if she hasn't left, that means she's still, you know, there's still some investment there for whatever reason, and she's still there. So if I were you, you know, I would stop maybe thinking that, you know, there's this, there's that, and maybe seeing what you can do to turn things around, because someone is still there. It doesn't sound like things are good on both ends, but what you're describing doesn't necessarily strike out to me as like, oh, she's holding on to her ex and sort of fantasizing about her ex, or that she's sticking it out with me because of money and blah, 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 and she doesn't care. I don't really get that. To me, a woman is not going to be emotionally invested. Once women are checked out emotionally, they are gone. You know, they're just, you know, they're living, breathing, and they don't really care what happens to you in the moment. But, you know, it doesn't sound like she's emotionally checked out. She might be in the process of doing that by being upset every night. But, you know, you may want to have some conversations and try being a little bit more supportive and a little bit more open, so that she can come to you. Because it sounds like you are watching her sort of, you know, pushing her away maybe even, but you're definitely watching her walk away. So I'm sorry to hear that, but what you're describing doesn't sound like what you're putting out there. Hope that makes sense. Thanks for putting this. Like, comment, follow, and share.